Okay, we can use the keys method to access only the keys part of the dictionary. We can use the values method to access only the values part of the dictionary, and we can use the items method to access the entire item of the dictionary. Now let us take this an example and see how this works. Okay, if I say I will just directly show you here. Okay, if I say spam.keys, if I say spam is the name of the dictionary. I have a dictionary here called as spam. It has got two elements in it. Color is the key, age is the key, red is a value, 42 is a value. Okay, so I have only two items in the dictionary. If I say spam.keys, if I say spam.keys, spam is that dot keys. If I say, it will give me back, it will give me back the list of all the, it will give me back the list of all the keys only. So it will give me color, it will give me age. If I say spam dot keys, it will give me back a, it will give me back a tuple. Remember, it will give me back a tuple which will contain color and age. I can show you this example here. For k in spam.keys. So spam is a dictionary, you know. If I say spam.keys, it will give me the list of only the keys, and if I print k, it will print only color and age, because color and age are the two keys. If I say spam.items, it will give me both the key also and the value also. So for example, if I say for I in spam.items, print I, if I say, it will display me the key and the value. It will display me the key and the value. And you can see that this is put in simple brackets. When it is put in simple brackets, you know that it is a tuple. When you have a list of items, when you have a list of items um, in square brackets, it is a list. When it is in simple brackets like this, which I have highlighted just now, this one, it is a tuple. And when it is in flower brackets, it is a dictionary. Please remember, these brackets that we put the elements into plays a very important role. If it is a simple square bracket, then you know that it is a list. If it is put in simple parentheses like this, then you know that it is a tuple. And if it is put in flower brackets, then you know that it is a dictionary. Okay, so remember that what I do here is I take for loop for I in spam.items. Okay, and if I say print I, so first it will display me the first item of the list. It will display the key comma value, key comma value. So it will display me this. So spam.keys is a function, is a method which will give me back the list of all the keys of the dictionary. Spam.items is another function which is used for getting all the items of the dictionary. Spam.values is another function or another method which we use to extract only the values of a dictionary. Okay, now let us take a look at this. I told you that whenever you use spam.keys or spam.values or spam.item, it will give you back a tuple. If you want to convert that tuple into a list, if you want to convert that tuple into a list, then we can use the list function to do that. You know what is the difference between a list and a tuple? A list and a tuple, almost they look similar, only they are same. You use integer index to access elements of a list as well as a tuple. But the main important difference between a tuple and a list is that lists are mutable, which means that you can add elements to a list, whereas tuples, you cannot add elements to a tuple because they are immutable. You cannot add any elements to the tuple, or you cannot remove any elements from a tuple. So if you want to convert a tuple into a list, we use the list function. Spam.keys will give me back what? The list of all the keys of the spam dictionary. So spam.keys, if I put this in the list, I'm using the list function here. And I pass spam.keys as the parameter. So what I get back is a list of all the keys of the dictionary. Spam is a dictionary. Which are the keys of this dictionary? Color is one key. Age is another key. If I say spam.keys, it will give me back color and age in the form of a tuple. But I want to convert that into a list. So I use a list function here, a list method here. So I have list of spam.keys. I get a list. So you can, how do you know that it is a list? You can say that from this square brackets here. From this square brackets, you come to know that color and age is given to you back as a list. So I hope you understood why do we use this spam.keys, spam.values, spam.items function or method. We use it for extracting individually the keys part of the dictionary, individually the values part of the dictionary, and individually the items of the dictionary. We use that. So please remember that we use it for that extracting separately. And then we can convert that into a list also, no problem. Okay. If I want to check whether a key or a value exists in the dictionary, then I can use the in operator. I can use the in operator. Simply have to do this. If I have a dictionary called as spam, and spam contains two items, name Zophie and age is 7. If I want to check whether the key is present in the dictionary or no, I simply have to use that word name in spam.keys. If is this key is this key called name present in spam dictionary, you will have to check it like this: name in spam.keys. If name is a key present in the dictionary, then it will return you a true, otherwise it will return you a false. Okay, so you can just check this in a condition. If name in spam.keys, then do whatever you want to do if the key is present, else do whatever you want to do if it is not present in the dictionary. So please remember the in operator. There is an in operator which is used to check whether a key is present or a value is present in this or no. Okay, we use the in operator. Okay. Similarly, we can also use the spam.values if you want to check whether the some data is present in the form of a value in the dictionary or no. So you use that data in operator. We use spam.values. If Zophie is present in spam dictionary in the form of a value, then it will display you a true. So use the in operator to do that. Okay, I'm just zooming through all this because this is all very easy. In the examination, they will ask you on this, explain how to use the in operator with the dictionary. So you have to write that the in operator is used in dictionaries to find out whether a particular key is present or no, or a value is present or no. To check that, we use the in operator. You have to explain like that and give this example. Then we have the get method. Why do we use the get method? It's tedious to check whether a key exists in the dictionary before accessing the key value. Fortunately, dictionaries have a get method that takes two arguments: the key of the value to retrieve and a fallback value to return if the key does not exist. Okay. What we can do is, if I want to know whether a particular key is present in a dictionary or no, then I can use the get method. If I have a dictionary called as picnic items, okay, if I have a dictionary called as picnic items containing two elements, the key of the first element is apples, and the key of the second element is cups. Key, this is the key, and this 5 and 2 are values. Apples 5, cups 2. Okay, so this is my dictionary. Now, if I say picnic items dot get cups, if I say picnic items dot get cups, okay, now see, we are using the get method, and this get method takes two arguments. You can see that it takes two arguments. The first argument is a key, comma, and some default value is there. You put some value there. What will happen is, now this get method will give you back the value of this cups. It will give you the values of that cups. It will give you the values of that cups if cups key is present in the dictionary. If the cups key is not present in the dictionary, then it will give you back a 0. Then it will give you back a 0. Have a look at this. Okay. I am bringing is a string that I have concatenated with, and then concatenation should happen with a string. So I'm converting whatever comes in the form of a string. So you can see that I am bringing, then you check cups, picnic item dot get cups, comma 0. If this cups key is present in this dictionary, then whatever is the value of this cups, you will get it back. If this cups key is not present in the dictionary, you will get this default value. It will give you back a 0. Plus, you add another string called as cups. So is this cups key present in the dictionary? Yes, it is present here. And what is the value? It is 2. So here, this entire thing should display you a 2, because picnics.getCups will return you back 2, because cups is present in the dictionary. If this cups key would not be present in this dictionary, then you would get a 0. Now see, what is the output? I am bringing 2 cups. Why this 2 came here? Because you got what is the value of this cups. So you can see that the 2 came here because of that. Take another example where you use a key which is not present in the dictionary. I am bringing picnics.get eggs, comma 0. Is this eggs keys Is this eggs key present in the dictionary? Eggs key is not present. Apples is there and cups is there. Eggs is not there. So if eggs is not there, then it will return you back a zero. So that's why you can see a zero coming over there. Since eggs keys is not present in the dictionary, it will give you back this default value. Whatever value you want to return back by the get, if in case this eggs key is not present in the dictionary, that you write it as a second parameter to the get function. So picnics.get eggs. If eggs is present, the value will be given to you. If eggs is not present in the dictionary, this value will be given back to you. So you get a zero. I hope this get method is clear with you. So a get method is used to return back the value of a key. In case if it is not present, then the default value, whichever is the second parameter to the get function, will be given back to you. So there is a little explanation about all that. Then comes set default method. Okay. Now, the set default method, you will often have to set a value in the dictionary for a certain key only if that key does not already have a value. The code looks something like this. If I have a dictionary called as spam containing name, which is Puka, and age is 5, if color not in spam, if let us say there is, I'm searching for I'm searching for a particular key. If color is a key which is not present in spam, then in that case, spam of color is equals to black. Spam of color is equals to black. I create a new element in the dictionary. The key of that element is color and the value is black. Okay, so I set it like that. So at the end of yeah, if you have understood this block of code, what does this block of code do is, you have a dictionary called as spam. How many elements are there in this dictionary? You have only two elements. Name is Puka and age is 5. If I want to add a third element to the dictionary, I can add it like this. If color is not present in spam, then create a new element that is spam of color and put the value black. So at the end of this code here, what will be the condition of the spam dictionary? It will contain three elements. The first element will be name Puka, age 5, color black. So three elements will be there in the dictionary. This is one way of doing it. If you want to add a new element to the dictionary, this is one way of doing it. But you have to have a if condition for that. You need to check if it is present, if it is not present, all that. You have to do all this. Okay, this is a little lengthy procedure. If you want to do it in a short procedure, we use the set default method. We use a set default method. Why do we use a set default method? It is something like this. Spam contains only two elements right now, name and age, and these are the respective values, same like which is on the top here. I want to add a new element and I want to set the key to color and the value to black. So I simply do this spam.set default color comma black. So now if I display the value of spam, what I get is I get the element at the beginning, age, and then I get name. So I add a new element to the dictionary. I add a new element to the dictionary using the set default method. The set default method is used to add an element to the dictionary by passing the key and the value as the parameters to it. If that color already exists, in the list, if there is a key already. Now in the first case here, you can see the original spam dictionary was name and age. Now when I use spam.set default color and black, it will first check before adding this new element to the dictionary, color black element to the dictionary, it will check in the dictionary if this color key is present in the dictionary or no. If it is not present, only then this element will be added to the dictionary. Please remember that. If this color key is not present in the dictionary, only then the element will be added. In case if this color key is present in the dictionary, then this will not be added to the dictionary. That is the importance of the set default method. The set default method adds a new element to the dictionary if it is not present. You can see here the original spam is what? Name and age. Color key was not there, so that's why later on I added a new element to the spam dictionary. Color is black. Now spam already contains, at the end of this statement here, you can see that the dictionary spam already contains a key called as color, and the value of that color is black. The value of that color key is black. So this is my new dictionary now, containing 3 elements. At this point of time, if I again say spam dot set default color comma white, if I say that, if I want to add a new element color, but color key is already present here, and the value that I want to be set there is white. Okay, I want the value to be set there is white. So I say spam dot set default color comma white. At the end of, after executing this statement, the condition of the spam will be color black, age 5, name Puka. It will be like this. So what did you understand from this is that if I try to add a key which is already present, the new value and the new key will not be added. The previous only will be kept. The previous only will be kept. A new element will not be added. This new element will be added only if this color key is adding to the dictionary for the first time. If this color key is being added to the list to the dictionary for the first time. If it is present already, then this will not create any problem to the dictionary. The dictionary will remain as it is. This will not, this statement, spam.set default statement will not do any changes to the dictionary if color key is already present in the dictionary. Okay, I hope you understood what is the meaning of the set default method. I want you people to understand all these methods properly. Why? Because in the examination, they will ask you a question like this. Explain the dictionary data type with the help of an example. So once you have explained that, then they will ask you explain any 5 methods available with the dictionaries. So you can explain the keys method, the values method, the items method, the set default method, okay, the set default method, and the get method. And the get method also you can explain. Any 5 they will ask you, or sometimes they may ask you explain any 6, or sometimes they may ask you explain any 3 built-in methods available with dictionaries. So you have to explain all that. So set default is important. You have to understand that. So there is a function called as pprint, which means pretty printing, which is used for specially displaying the output in a more formatted manner. We use the print function to display something on the monitor. You know that if I want to display something on the screen from Python, we use the print function. The print function is used for displaying something on the standard output device, that is the monitor. There is a special print function which is called as the pprint function. A pprint method is there, which is present in a library called as pprint only. So if at all in your program you want to use the pprint method, you have to first import a pprint library. Okay, you have to import the pprint library, and only then you will be able to use pprint. So if you want to use pprint, you have to say pprint.pprint count. How is it different from a normal print? Let us see. If you import the pprint module into your programs, you will have access to the pprint and pformat functions. So there are 2 functions which we make use of, pprint and pformat. That will pretty print a dictionary's values. This is helpful when you want a cleaner display of the items of a dictionary than the print provides. Modify the previous character count.py program and save it as that. Okay, no problem. So what I'm doing here is I have imported pprint, then I have a message here. Message is equals to, it was a bright cold day in April and the clock was striking 13. Okay, so there is a little message here which is a string message. Then there is a dictionary that I'm declaring here called as count, which is a empty dictionary. Count is an empty dictionary. And then what I do here is for character in message, for each character in the message. Okay, for character in message. What is message? Message is a string. So what will this for loop do? This for loop will iterate through all the characters of the message. It will iterate through all the characters of the message. So in the first iteration of the loop, it will display I. If I print that, it will display I. So let me just very quickly show you this example. What does the for loop do? Okay, so I have a message here, MSG, which I will hello world. Then I have three exclamation marks. So I have a simple. So what I have here is a simple uh, uh, string variable MSG containing hello world, and then for C in MSG print C. Okay, so that's it. So this is my simple program. I'm just explaining to you people what will this for loop do. Simple for.py is the name of my file. Okay, so now when I go to my command prompt, Python test files, and then I will run this program. Okay, so what you saw as the output is I have a message here called as I have a string variable here called as message, and I iterate through all the characters of the string. So I take for C in MSG. What is MSG? MSG is the string variable. So if I iterate for C in MSG, so this is the body of the for loop. There is only one thing in the for loop: print C. What is this C? C is a variable, and what will come into C in the first iteration of the loop? The first character of the loop, the first character of the string will come. So in C, first H will come. In the second iteration, E will come. In the third iteration, L will come. In the fourth iteration, another L will come. In the fifth iteration, O will come. So okay, and in the fourth iteration, so on. So all these elements will be iterated. All these elements will be iterated one after the other, one after the other, and till all the elements in the string is finished. So you can see that in the first iteration, C will be H. So if I say print C, it will display me only H. Then in the second iteration, it will display E, L, L, O, all the elements, one character at a time. So this is what happens when we iterate through. If you want to iterate through all the elements of this string, we use the for loop. For C in MSG, C is a variable which will contain each character in the body of the loop. Okay, now going back here. So for C in message, message is IT like that. It was a bright color all that. So if I say count dot set default, count is the dictionary. Count dot set default character comma 0. So what I will do is I will add the character, which is I will add that character into the dictionary, and then I will add a 0 to it. So if the character is encountered for the first time, it will be added to the dictionary and it will be initialized to 0. If it is not present, then count of character is equals to count plus 1. Basically, this program here will count how many times a particular character is appearing in the string. So I is appearing how many times. If I count that, I is there once, and then capital I am talking about, so it is not there. So I will be only 1. Count of I will be 1. Count of T, how many times T is appearing? 1, 2, 3. I think there are small t is appearing 3 times in the string. So this program will actually count how many times a particular character is appearing. Okay, and then finally, if I do pprint.print count, if I say pprint.print count, if I what is count? Count is a dictionary. Then you will see the output. So if I copy this. So you can see that if I want to display a dictionary, then I can very well display it like this. So you can see that in the entire string, space is a character which is appearing 13 times, comma is a character which is appearing 1 time, dot is appearing 1 time, capital A is appearing 1 time, capital I is appearing 1 time, small a is appearing 4 times, B is appearing 1 time. So basically what we are doing is we are counting that. And if I say print count, it will directly display me the dictionary direct as it is. It will display the dictionary. Why? Because I'm using pprint. Pprint is a method to display the dictionary in a more systematic and a formatted way. Okay, so what I will do here is I will stop for today. I've got a meeting at 11 o'clock. Okay, I will continue again in the next class. Okay, so have a nice day, all of you. Bye bye.